In the vast, shimmering expanse of the western Pacific, there lies an archipelago of over 7,000 islands. This is the Philippines, a nation scattered like emerald jewels across the sea, each island with its own story, culture, and rhythm of life. From the northernmost tip of Batanes to the southern reaches of Mindanao, these islands form a tapestry of breathtaking diversity and natural wonder. It's a nation of breathtaking beauty, emerald rice terraces carved by ancient hands, vibrant coral reefs teeming with life, and people whose lives are tied to the sea. Generations have thrived here, drawing sustenance from the land and ocean, celebrating festivals that honor both bounty and resilience. But today, that ancient rhythm has been shattered. The harmony between people and nature is under threat, as the climate crisis brings new and unpredictable dangers to these shores. The Philippines stands at the epicenter of the climate crisis, a front line where the impacts of global warming are felt first and most intensely. The air is heavier, the seas warmer, and storms now gather with unimaginable ferocity. Each year typhoons grow stronger, and the seasons themselves seem to shift, leaving communities in a state of constant uncertainty. This island nation, due to its geography and economic realities, is the most climate-vulnerable country on Earth. Its people face the brunt of nature's fury, often with limited resources to recover or rebuild. Here, a single storm can erase years of progress, and rising waters threaten the very ground people call home. Erosion eats away at coastlines, and entire communities are forced to move, leaving behind memories and livelihoods. For millions living in low-lying coastal areas, climate change is not a distant concept. It's salt water in their wells, roofs torn away, and constant anxiety about the next typhoon. It's the daily reality of adapting to a world that feels less predictable, less safe. The carbon emissions of industrialized nations manifest here as monstrous typhoons and relentless rains. The consequences of choices made far away are written in the floodwaters and storm-battered homes of the archipelago. The injustice is stark. Those who contributed least to the problem suffer the most. The gap between rich and poor widens as the most vulnerable are left to bear the heaviest burdens. Yet, amid this challenge, a story of resilience and hope is emerging. Communities come together to rebuild, to support one another, and to find new ways to adapt and thrive. The Filipino people are not just victims, they are becoming pioneers. Innovators, leaders, and youth are working tirelessly to protect their future, restoring mangroves, developing new technologies, and building systems of preparedness. Their struggle is a warning and a lesson for the world. The fate of these islands is a mirror for our planet's future, and their courage lights a path forward for us all. The year 2024 will be remembered as a time of unprecedented trial for the Philippines. Never before had the nation faced such a relentless barrage of natural disasters in such a short span. The country, already accustomed to the annual rhythm of typhoons, found itself pushed to the very edge of endurance. In just 3 weeks, 5 major typhoons battered the archipelago, each storm compounding the devastation of the last. There was barely a moment to breathe, let alone recover, as communities reeled from one blow after another. The climax came with Super Typhoon Man-yi, locally known as Pepito, an event of catastrophic power that dwarfed anything in recent memory. Winds howled, rain fell in torrents, and entire towns were left unrecognizable. At least 160 lives were lost, but the true toll was far greater. 9 million people displaced, homes destroyed, and families torn apart. The emotional scars ran deep, as survivors faced the daunting task of rebuilding from nothing. For the first time since 1951, 4 separate storm systems churned simultaneously in the Pacific. A terrifying spectacle of nature's power, amplified by the unmistakable fingerprints of climate change. Meteorologists watched in disbelief as the storms grew in strength and frequency. The economic toll was staggering, crippling infrastructure and agriculture, forcing the World Bank to slash growth forecasts. Livelihoods vanished for farmers, fisherfolk, and small business owners. Fields that once promised harvests were now wastelands of mud and debris, and entire communities faced an uncertain future. The cycle of rebuilding, only to be struck again, became unsustainable. Each effort to restore what was lost was met with new destruction, testing the resilience and spirit of the Filipino people. This was more than a series of disasters, it was a clear message from the planet. The scale and frequency of these storms could no longer be dismissed as coincidence. Warming oceans are fueling stronger storms, confirming scientists' warnings. The evidence is undeniable. As the seas heat up, the storms that form above them grow ever more destructive. For the Philippines, climate change is no longer abstract, it's a daily, urgent reality. Every flooded street, every ruined home is a stark reminder that the crisis is here and now. The nation must now revolutionize how it prepares for the future. Only through innovation, resilience, and global cooperation can the Philippines hope to weather the storms yet to come. In the face of overwhelming destruction, the Philippines is turning to its natural defenses, blue carbon ecosystems. Along its coasts grow mangroves, seagrass meadows, and salt marshes, nature's living shield. Mangroves, with their stilt-like roots, absorb storm surges and protect communities. Seagrass meadows, the ocean's only underwater flowering plants, stabilize the shore and shelter marine life. These ecosystems are not just barriers, they are carbon powerhouses, capturing and storing CO2 up to 10 times more effectively than terrestrial forests. The carbon is locked away in waterlogged soils for centuries. Protecting and restoring these habitats builds resilience and heals the atmosphere. Nature's engineering is proving more effective than concrete walls. The future of the Philippines' coasts depends on these blue carbon ecosystems. The Philippines is making blue carbon the cornerstone of its national defense. Home to half the world's mangrove species, the country is shifting from neglect to action. After Super Typhoon Haiyan, studies showed communities with intact mangroves suffered less damage. This spurred major investments in restoration, now coordinated through the National Blue Carbon Action Partnership. The strategy is simple: work with nature, not against it, restoring mangroves, planting seagrass, and combining green and engineered solutions. It's a resilient, affordable, and sustainable path forward. The real power of this green revolution lies with the people who live on these coasts. Across the Philippines, communities are leading restoration, drawing on ancestral knowledge and deep connection to the sea. In Ajuy, Iloilo, a hybrid defense system, offshore breakwater and thriving mangrove greenbelt, protects the shoreline. Locals collect mangrove seeds, nurture saplings, and plant them in the mudflats, protecting and monitoring their growth. This collective effort strengthens both the coastline and the community. The model is spreading nationwide, built on empowerment and stewardship. By giving communities resources and rights, the government is fostering sustainable livelihoods and local pride. These projects are about more than trees. They're about resilience and ownership. Real change starts with determined hands in the mud. Behind this movement are dedicated scientists, activists, and leaders. Dr. Jurgen H. Primavera, a marine scientist, has championed mangrove protection for decades, providing the evidence needed to shift policy. Her work, and that of her peers, has proven the economic and protective value of healthy mangroves. The Philippines is now a global voice, hosting key climate finance meetings and demanding just, accessible funding for adaptation. Everyday citizens are also making a difference, like the engineer who won the Goldman Environmental Prize for saving a marine area from development. These acts of courage, combined with scientific expertise and political leadership, inspire a nation. The movement is built on both grassroots action and visionary leadership. Together, they are redefining what climate resilience looks like. The world is taking notice. Investing in blue carbon brings benefits far beyond storm protection. Restored mangroves and seagrass boost fish stocks, ensuring food security and income for millions of small-scale fishers. Healthy ecosystems create economic incentives for conservation and open new financing opportunities through carbon markets. Payments from the Loss and Damage Fund can turn vulnerability into sustainable funding. These habitats are biodiversity hotspots, sheltering hundreds of species and supporting ecotourism. By reviving them, the Philippines safeguards its natural heritage and strengthens its economy. It's a holistic investment in the nation's future. The Philippines is breaking the cycle of disaster and response. Instead of rebuilding after every storm, the focus is now on proactive, nature-based resilience. Restoring mangroves costs far less than rebuilding destroyed infrastructure. Every dollar invested in nature saves many more in future recovery. This shift transforms environmental spending into national security and economic stability. It also fosters hope and agency. Communities are shaping their own resilient future. Activists demand this work be paired with a transition to renewable energy and a halt to destructive practices. The Philippines is not just adapting, It's helping lead the global fight against climate change. The Philippines' story is a stark illustration of climate injustice, but also a beacon of hope. Here, the impacts of a warming world are felt first and most deeply, yet the response is one of remarkable resilience and innovation. In the face of rising seas and intensifying storms, communities are refusing to be defined by vulnerability alone. From the heart of vulnerability, the nation is forging a new path, rooted in the wisdom of nature. Filipino farmers, fishers, and families are drawing on generations of knowledge, blending tradition with new science to protect their homes and livelihoods. Blue carbon ecosystems are more than policy, they're a blueprint for survival. Mangroves, seagrasses, and tidal wetlands are natural shields, absorbing carbon and buffering communities from disaster while nurturing biodiversity and food security. Empowering local communities drives lasting change, as seen in Ajui and beyond. When people are given the tools and trust to restore their environment, they become stewards of hope, passing on a legacy of resilience to future generations. The Philippines is turning its greatest vulnerability into its greatest strength, becoming a global leader. Its voice is now heard on the world stage, inspiring others to act boldly for climate justice and ecological restoration. The world must listen and support, not with loans, but with direct grants that empower action. True partnership means investing in local solutions and trusting those who know the land best. The challenge is immense, but so is the resilience found in mangrove roots and Filipino spirit. Every restored coastline, every thriving family, is a testament to what's possible when hope and hard work come together. Their work is a call to action for all humanity. It reminds us that the fight for climate justice is a shared responsibility, and that change begins with collective courage. Even as storms rage and seas rise, hope endures, in nature and in people. Each new day brings another chance to rebuild, to adapt, and to dream of a safer, more sustainable future. The future depends on integrating nature's designs into our plans. By learning from the ecosystems that have protected these shores for centuries, we can build communities that thrive, not just survive. A healthy planet is the only true foundation for a healthy society. When we care for nature, we care for ourselves and for generations yet to come. The Philippines reminds us, hope is rooted in our connection to the natural world. In every mangrove seedling and every act of restoration, we find the promise of a brighter tomorrow.